Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong.
Dana White, the head of UFC, shared that Tyson was right about taking this fight and he was wrong. White revealed that Tyson knew all along that Jake wouldn't be able to hurt him.
But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. And he's like, you honestly think this kid's going to do anything to me? He's not good. He's not going to me out. He's not going to do this.
On the day of the fight, Tyson seemed worn out and extremely slow compared to his training videos. He tripped, couldn't land many punches, kept biting his glove and had a knee brace on. And even then, Jake barely fought him.
And you saw him. He tripped when he was walking down the thing. He had a hard time walking up the stairs. He had a knee brace on. And Jake Paul couldn't do anything to him. He made a ton of money. And I know people are mad. You stayed home on a Saturday night, but you didn't pay for it. You know what I mean? And
if anything, Tyson's name is what built this fight in the first place. Jake's last fight was barely viewed by the public, whereas this fight broke Netflix and was viewed by millions.
You know, this is what Mike Tyson, when Mike Tyson shows up, everybody makes money. You know, Jake Paul is.
Tyson walked home with an estimate of $20 million. It's hard to be mad at that. Dana White responded to everyone who was disappointed in the fight, saying that their belief was misplaced. A 58-year-old in the ring against a younger opponent would have never gotten bloody and harsh in any case.
You know, there's a lot of, Portnoy went out and said that it was the greatest con job of all time. I mean, if you didn't think that that's the way the fight, I don't know what people expected. You know, Mike's almost 60 years old. He's Mike Tyson, but he's 60 years old, and he knew that Jake Paul couldn't do anything to him. So you knew what you were going to get when you saw that fight. But you can't be mad. It's free. We all got Netflix anyway, right?
White even said that the fight was practically free to watch since everybody has Netflix. Plus, the co-main event between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano was the real highlight of the night, which was also a mess in many ways, but still entertaining.
And you got to watch the girls fight, and the girls fight was good. You know, I know a lot of people were pissed, and it was a bit of a shit show, but, you know, what did you expect? Seriously.
The Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight has been making headlines, but for all the wrong reasons. While most expected the fight to be at least entertaining, it was sad and underwhelming. Jimmy Fallon spoke on his show about the fight taking a hit at the disappointment that it was by comparing it to an NFL match that took place a couple of days later.
Coming to you after the game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Chargers. The game was intense. It felt just like watching Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, except these guys actually hit each other. Wow.
Fallon mocked the fight and its inability to display the sport at its best or finest.
One point during the match, a Netflix notification popped up that said, "Why are you still watching?" And I thought that was interesting. Wow. That was interesting. I'd never seen that before.
A ton of people around the world had tuned in to watch Tyson throw a couple of punches. Except for the fight being uneventful and boring, the streaming platform Netflix kept buffering for many, giving them another reason to not watch.
Yeah, not only was the fight uneventful, but a lot of people watching said the Netflix live stream kept buffering and glitching. It was a frustrating night. Every time the picture froze, people yelled, "This sucks!" And then the picture unfroze and people yelled, "This sucks too!"
Since Dana revealed that Tyson knew Jake wouldn't hurt him, and a national television host is joking about how no one would hit the other, there's a common theme here, that the fight was rigged or scripted, and that's exactly what Tony Jeffries revealed. Mike Tyson is announced as one of the best boxers in history. He was the youngest heavyweight champion. For him to lose to a YouTuber-turned-boxer is embarrassing for many pros and unbelievable.
Well, it happened. Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson's just been beat off Jake Paul. But how? Mike Tyson's an absolute legend and one of the greatest fighters of all time. How can this YouTuber beat such a great fighter?
But the doubts and rumors were confirmed when a script showed up on the app, X.
Well, X has spoken. The fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days ago.
Jeffries compared the script to the actual fight and found that it was pretty interesting.
Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, which actually happened. As soon as the bell went, Mike Tyson came out with that head movement, pushing forward. Immediately he stalks forward with his signature bob and weave style. Now let me just stop right there. Even before I seen this script, that's exactly what was going to happen. Like, what else?
The script described the form and placement of both fighters, which was followed to a certain extent, but it isn't confirmed and not that accurate either. Jeffries doesn't think that the script is real, but saw the fight and thought that Tyson's legs were completely gone.
Now, as much as we might have wanted Mike Tyson to show a little bit of his old self with that movement, getting his feet in and knocking out Jake Paul. The fact of the matter is his legs were gone. People don't think about Mike Tyson as having...
He said Tyson's best asset was his quick foot movement that gave him a huge edge over others. Jeffries thinks that time caught up to him. He talked about how people think there might have been a deal that prevented Jake from knocking him out.
Just put him away. Maybe you think the deal was Mike Tyson said, I'm not going to get knocked out, but I'll lose on points for my extra 10, 20 million quid. Maybe that's what you're thinking.
He disagreed, saying that Jake Paul didn't rush forward to knock out Tyson, but he couldn't knock Tyson out even if he tried.
Didn't knock him out was because he couldn't knock him out. If he could have knocked him out, he would have knocked him out. Yes, he didn't rush forward and really try and put the pressure on and knock him out. Why do you think that is? If you know anything about boxing, what happens when you rush forward and you try and knock someone out? You leave yourself open to get countered or to get caught with shots yourself.
According to Jeffries, Jake tried to win on points and do the necessary shots to get himself to be the winner. Now, Jeffries' opinion is a rare one. On the other hand, Carl Froch has been completely against this fight from the start and found it disrespectful.
But yeah, Mike Tyson shouldn't be getting in there with a 26-year-old man. And I know Jake Paul's fucking joker and he can't fight and he lives in clown world, but he still shouldn't be punching a 58-year-old man in the head.
With that being said, he had hoped that something in the contract would prevent Tyson from getting hurt even in the slightest.
So I'm hoping that the contract's sensible and they're going to take the time a little bit. I mean, Jake Paul's probably going to try and chin him in it because he's got a massive ego and he wants everyone to believe he's a great fighter. But I don't know what pleasure you can take from beating an old Mike Tyson. I don't know what you get.
After the fight, he spoke up that it was awful and made on sense, that all the hype and build-up was clearly a quick money grab because the fight offered nothing.
It was crap, wasn't it? Let's be honest. The fight itself was awful. What happened in the fight? What happened in the ring? There was no substance. It's like when you cook.
He went on to say that the fight was useless and a huge anticlimax.
Shit. You think to yourself, what a waste of time that was. And that's what this fight was. The fight itself was a massive anticlimax. It was fucking crap. It was a waste of time. I'm glad I didn't stay up late to watch it. All the people that pay good money to be there and watch it, they must be disappointed with that performance. The fight was absolutely hopeless. It was terrible.
Froch thinks he can take Jake on with his eyes closed because while Jake can fight, he hasn't taken on a real challenge. And the one he did take, he lost.
My mobile phone won't be ringing, will it? They won't be sending me an email. They won't be contacting my agent to get a fight because they know. I ain't calling him out. I'm just letting you know that he knows, that I fucking know. If I went in there with Jake Paul, it would be an absolute mismatch. One round.
Froch is so confident that Jake is a sellout and a fake in the boxing world that he can take him on with one hand behind his back and still come out victorious.
Demolition job. I'd even tie one arm behind my back and just imagine one arm behind my back, just lining him up with this right hand and eventually levering him with a big uppercut or a big overhand dirty stinker. Put him in the El Sparko position like he's been tasered.
Froch and Paul have sort of called each other out before once, where Froch promised to knock him out, and Jake simply said that he's looking to make money.
Guarantee that.
He sounds desperate for money. Like most boxers spent his money improperly. As far as I'm concerned, not a single person in the United States knows your name. Carl, fight Anderson Silva. If you can get through Anderson Silva, which I bet you can't, then me and you will fight. I guarantee it.
Well, after this fight with Tyson, Jake is available to take on another contender, so why not Froch? The pair recently exchanged some words on X. Simon Jordan and Adam Smith spoke to share that this fight was probably about financial necessity more than an actual fight.
It's got to be about finances, Martin. I think that he's gone back in there. He's obviously tried to prove something to himself. Incredible that he can do that at 58, yes, but why is a commission allowing that? A 27-year-old and a 58-year-old guy to fight.
The fight was incredibly hard to watch since Tyson seemed exhausted at times and even biting his gloves.
Actually watching it was really hard, I felt.
And that's why you chose, not in spite of the fact I was trying to call you and text you, and you had your phone on silent, quite rightly, you thought, I'm not having this.
No, I didn't think it was worth watching.
In a surprising turn of events, it seems like pro fighters want to put Jake in his place once and for all. The Russian undisputed light heavyweight champion, who currently holds the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO titles, made a direct offer to Paul to fight him for all of these world championships. This surprised many, since Beterbiev only focuses on high-level fights with established opponents, but seemed to offer Paul a pretty unique opportunity. Jake didn't really say yes or no, but having a top fighter call him out did give him a huge ego boost for sure. Jake's focus as as of right now has been Canelo Alvarez. He immediately called Alvarez out right after the fight.
How about Canelo? You said Canelo this week.
Canelo needs me, so I'm not even going to try and call him out, but he knows he wants the payday, so he knows where the money man's at.
But with Jake's choices of usual opponents, the internet is poking fun at him, with several saying his next opponent may just be Joe Biden. Alvarez hasn't said much about Jake and his offer, but did say that boxing is a different sport when you're fighting a real fighter.
I don't want to say any bad things. I think he doing good things for his own team, but boxing is a little bit different when you fight in a real fighter.
Claressa Shields, on the other hand, had a few words to share for if this fight does go down. She shared that not many real boxers took him seriously enough to come and fight him before.
Jake Paul, right? And y'all complain and say, oh, he's not a real boxer, he's bad for boxing, this and that, he ain't that good of a boxer. Why the hell y'all won't get in the ring and fight him and beat him?
Shields said that a fighter needs to step forward and whoop Jake back to YouTube.
It's who Jake Paul is calling out. And I'm even going to say this for the King Canelo. If Jake Paul is calling you out talking about some he can beat you in a fight, why won't you just whoop his ass?
A lot of fighters think that Jake isn't even worth getting in the ring with since he's barely considered a pro boxer. To this, Shields said.
What is all this? Oh, he hasn't earned the fight with me. He isn't that great. He's not a real boxer. Well, show him he's not a real boxer.
Get some free money.
Shut him up. It's a check.
A free check.
I heard that.
A while back, both Floyd Mayweather and Dana White were confident that Alvarez would completely destroy Jake Paul, with White saying that it would be a 30-second, $30 million payday for Alvarez. Even Simon Jordan shared that he'd love to see Alvarez go down in the ring with Jake and show him what a real fighter looks like.
Jake Paul, fights Tommy Fury, fights people that are declining MMA stars, and fights Mike Tyson. There's a part of me to love someone like Canelo Alvarez to go in there and give him a touch of reality.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, all it will be about is money.
It seems like after this fight with Tyson, fighters really do see potential in taking down Jake Paul once and for all. Another popular name who spoke out to fight Jake is Gervonta Davis. Davis took to his Instagram story to call out Jake Paul after his fight and said, "To that bozo who shared the ring with Mike, you a whole bozo for this, and you didn't get the job done. One more thing, I'ma beat the brakes off Jake when I catch him. Uppercut, jab, jab, left hook, uppercut, hook. Watch." Jake responded to Davis's call out during his post-fight conference.
He hit you with one, and you gave him the tongue. Only because the crowd got turned up, but it didn't actually hurt.
The boxing world has realized that Jake might not be a legit fighter, but he sure can make a ton of money. So he's made it clear that people need him more than he needs them. Another popular contender was Conor McGregor, but Jake downright said that Conor wouldn't go for the fight because he's not his own boss.
It didn't hurt, no. I was just off balance when Woodley hit me, but because I was throwing a check hook and I missed, and then
In fact, Jake thinks McGregor is scared of boxing him.
And then he hit me and I went boom, but it didn't hurt.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Do you feel like it's time for people to just accept you for who you are and not try to say, hey, you need to fight ranked fighters or fight for a belt or those kinds of things, and just accept what you...
He compared the fact that both of them have fought Nate Diaz and won, so it would be a tough matchup according to him. Popular YouTuber and gamer Charles White Jr., also known as Penguin Zero, shared his opinion about the fight to say that he always knew it would be underwhelming and boring. According to him, the other fights were extremely entertaining.
I have said since the very day this was announced that it was a pathetic endeavor. I thought that this would only end in underwhelming, disappointing disaster. And it only got worse when Mike Tyson suffered a medical emergency and nearly died like 4 months before this fight even happened, which caused it to be pushed back in the first place. It is stupid.
Charles had predicted that there would be no knockouts from the start.
And there was no knockouts in this fight. Not only was there no knockouts, there was no anything worthwhile. As I said from the beginning, this is just a cash grab. It is two athletes getting a payday and nothing else.
He explained that it's impressive enough that Tyson went out and finished all the 8 rounds considering he's nearly 60, and to absorb multiple hits despite being gassed is pretty cool, but also sad. Charles roasted Jake for his choice in opponents, saying,
Jake Paul hurts more elderly people than a staircase. He's built a reputation of just challenging out of their prime fighters, retired fighters, sometimes not even fighters. I wouldn't be shocked if Jake Paul called out my father, saying that he's bad at iRacing and he wants to prove it by getting in the boxing ring with my dad.
The general public and boxing fans also felt like this fight was just disappointing because watching an old man struggle in the ring is painful, and to watch a young boy boast about winning against a retired legend is even sadder.
I saw the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight last night. That has got to be one of the most boring fights I've ever seen. We really just sat and watched like an hour of Jake Paul committing elder abuse. It was just sad. I just felt bad for Mike Tyson. He has not been in the ring for more than 2 decades, and like, dude, I mean, he got paid $20.
The hate against Jake got even worse when Tyson explained what happened to him 4 months ago in detail, due to which the fight was postponed. It was known that he suffered through a stomach ulcer that caused him to bleed and be hospitalized. But the details he shared had everyone shocked that he even went back into fight.
When you lost, but still won. I'm grateful for last night. No regrets to get in the ring one last time. I almost died in June, had 8 blood transfusions, lost half my blood, 25 pounds in the hospital, and had to fight to get healthy, to fight so I won.
Stephen A. talked with ESPN to share that Tyson did not look well at all for the fight.
He looked bad. He looked like somebody that was in the hospital months earlier. He looked like somebody that, as he described, who lost a lot of blood, lost a lot of weight, etc. I watched Mike Tyson walking to the ring. He stumbled while he was...
It's obvious that the fight to a certain level was rigged, but Jake knows how to make money, and Tyson chose this. What do you think about Tyson's decision? Who do you think Jake should fight next? Let us know in the comments below, and subscribe for more.